There's a lot of different reasons why we can lose our confidence so bad going through this. And I'll just go like through some of those reasons. So one of them is that there's just so many symptoms and you almost feel like you can't recognize yourself when you're so symptomatic. And so, for instance, like you might be having cognitive issues and you may not be able to work the way you used to work, or focus the way you used to focus, or make decisions the way you used to make decisions. And so you might be dealing with like brain fog, and you might be dealing with anhedonia, where you just like everything feels so flat and you like nothing feels rewarding, or like there's any reason to do it. So yeah, so you might be dealing with those. There's just so many symptoms. And I think those symptoms can bring us to this sense of disconnect from our normal selves. And so like for me, I couldn't remember the things I learned in school in my master's program, and I was like about to be working, and I had already started my job when I was going through withdrawal. And so there was like that little overlap. And, but anyway, I ended up not being able to work for a while, and things like that can really, it can knock your confidence. Like I was just like, I can't remember what I learned. I don't even know if I'll ever be able to do that career ever. Like it might just be done, like donezo. And so that made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I really lost my confidence in my own thoughts. And then you may also like not have your same sense of like humor or your perspective or your logic or any of that, because you're dealing with so many looping thoughts. And it's making you more isolated, because you used to be able to go out and connect with people, and now you're having so many symptoms, you're having a hard time getting out and doing normal things. And so that can feel like it's knocking your confidence, because you're like, I don't even know how to socialize normally anymore, or you're trying to, but you're like you just feel like you're way in your head, and you're like having so many symptoms. You're like, am I being socially appropriate while I'm having all these symptoms? What do people do to be socially appropriate? Like maybe I'm supposed to tilt my head and nod, answer something that makes sense to the question. Like it just feels like so mechanical, because you're having to coach yourself and remember all those things that used to just come naturally.